if you were in control of national defense, what kind of weapons would you develop and manufacture for army, navy, and air force to make India strategically powerful in the Indian subcontinent? Okay, that's a great question. What would I do if I was in charge of national defense? Look, how do you measure a government's performance? How do you quantify a government's performance when it comes to what it has done for national defense? You ask yourself a very simple set of questions. Hmm? In 2014, how many fighter planes did Bharat have? 2014. And today in 2024, how many fighter planes does Bharat have? What has been the delta X, plus or minus? How many have increased or decreased? That's one way of looking at it. Second question, how many naval warships of various kinds did Bharat have in 2014? How many do we have today? How many submarines did Bharat have in 2014? How many do we have today? How many attack helicopters, how many transport helicopters, and so on and so forth? You can do that, and then you can see the difference. That's how you see how a government has performed in the field of defense. How have they done a good deal for India? Now, what would I do? I believe that, you know, I understand the ground reality that we are not currently a nation that can manufacture jet engines. So the first thing I would do is I would anyhow acquire jet engine technology. I would buy, beg, borrow, or steal jet engine technology. Any jet engine. Ideally, you buy it. If it doesn't work, you borrow or beg it, or you steal it. I don't care. Doesn't matter. National defense, national interest comes first above everything else, above ethics, above morality, above everything else. National interest comes before everything else. So acquire jet engine technology is the first thing I would do. Second thing, I would make a truckload of manufacture a truckload of the Tejas fighter planes, and manufacture a whole bunch of Sukhois of whatever technology we have. See, look, quantity has a quality of its own. We may not have fifth generation fighter planes, the technology right now. We are in the process of developing that, but I would certainly insist and completely properly fund the development of the AMC, a fighter plane, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, the fifth generation fighter plane. In the next 10 years, I would definitely fund that and make sure the timeline, it's all on track. That's what I would do. I would have large quantities of whatever aircraft we can manufacture. I would have them manufactured because we need numbers. We need numbers. So maybe 100, 200 Tejas fighter planes, maybe 100 more Sukhois. If required, buy 200 Rafales. We need numbers. We need numbers. Very important. So that's on the. And I would have all kinds of drones developed, loitering munitions, high altitude, medium altitude drones, long endurance hail mail drones, loitering drones, um, those kamikaze drones. All kinds of drones need to be developed. Drones that can work in tandem, synchronized drones, that can operate in swarms of 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Those kind of drones I would have those developed. It's not that difficult to develop that. The IITs could be roped into that for this matter. We have very good scientists and engineers there. That's what I would do. I would emphasize on artillery, indigenous artillery, howitzers, and so on, and things like that. Missiles, cruise missiles. You need a big stockpile of cruise missiles and other kinds of missiles. Maybe 10,000, 20,000 you need for a proper extended war in case you are in a war. Uh, um, what else? Light arms, machine guns, etc. Instead of importing them from abroad, I would have them manufactured in India. I'm sure we have good prototypes that have been developed in India. So that's what I would do, and then I would very strongly focus on the navy. Lots of new warships. I would focus on, once again, quantity over quality. I would not say that use bad quality. I would say that, put out large numbers of warships. One warship, one class of warship that is extraordinarily deadly but kind of underregarded is the missile boat. A light, cheap boat on which you can put two or three BrahMos missiles, and you fill the ocean with those. That can completely be a game changer. It can turn the Indian Ocean region into an Indian owned piece of maritime real estate. So that is, of course, depends on the endurance and the endurance of the boats. But then you also need submarines. I would say a nation like India needs 100 submarines. All of this costs a tremendous amount of money, but we have the money. So these are some of the things I would do. And I would develop ICBMs, genuine ICBMs, not a 10,000 kilometer range, but a 20,000 kilometer range ICBM, just to have that in the bank. That's some of the stuff I would do, apart from others. And I would obviously take a look at the nuclear weapons stockpile as well. And we probably need some tweaking in that as well.